Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to Rolling Intentions. My name is Jason, and we're going to do a review of Dogs in the Vineyard by D. Vincent Baker. First of all, how does everybody feel about the game after just playing it?
I like it a lot.
I do. I give it my... Okay, I'll definitely tell someone else to try this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It feels a little advanced, though. This is not over. We're going to have another Dogs game later on. Okay?
Yeah.
We're going to revisit this game again.
It's definitely worth it.
We're going to revisit this game again. And in fact, why don't you, the viewers, tell us what mistakes we probably have made? Maybe that can help us clear up any problems, or maybe the whole thing with ceremonies, give us a little bit more insight. The book is a little bit complicated. So please comment, like, subscribe.
Yeah, tell us how we did, how you would have acted better as a dog.
There you go, yeah. Tell us what you would do in the situations as follows, how you would have acted. Will it be the same way, or would it be a bit different?
Tell us what your favorite part of it was. Like, I don't know, did you like how Pleasant acted? Did you think he was boring to listen to? He didn't shoot anyone. What kind of dog is that?
It's the worst type.
I think it's the game itself. The mechanics are a little. They're very unique.
Yeah, let's talk about the mechanics.
Yeah.
So, the mechanics of the game is, you start off with 4 stats. One is acuity, body, heart, and will, and they directly associate themselves with certain types of things in a conflict. For instance, talking, which is like a conversation. And then there's physical non-violence. So basically, you're doing something physical, but
slamming your fist on a table, or
for instance,
bolstering or something.
Yeah, being
puffing your
intimidating.
chest out.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then physical violence, which is pretty straightforward. Taking out a knife, the same thing. So taking out weapons and stuff.
And then there's gun-related violence, which is a minimum of 30 years for manslaughter.
Yeah. And then there's gun shooting, which hurts a lot. So the way that you get that's the stats that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. And this is a conflict-only system. There's no other way to resolve it except for making stakes between individuals or an object. We haven't actually did that. Technically, an inanimate object can be an enemy. For instance, death. For instance, that was one.
That's right.
We were trying to save his life. Using what's called traits, relationships, and belongings to help in conflicts, to resolve them.
It helps your side of the conflict.
To help your stakes.
Yeah. So you roll a whole bunch of dice, whatever you start with your stats that are relevant, then you can start to add in your traits and relationships, as long as you also add them into the narrative and say, this is how this relationship mattered. And the system is called Raising and Seeing, and I really quite like it.
It's kind of like poker.
Yeah, it's kind of like poker. It establishes a real back and forth. Because first I'll put forward 2 dice, and then you have to say, well, I can reverse that because I got a really good roll on my dice. You can say, well, I can block that because I have 2 dice that can match it. Or I'm going to get injured. Here's how many dice I have to take it to be injured.
What I kind of find funny too is the dice tell the narration.
Yeah.
They help a lot.
Yeah,
they structure. They can't just they won't let someone constantly be trying to win.
Yeah.
It makes them have to suffer sometimes.
It gives a very interesting back and forth. Like, if Apocalypse World is nice here, like the rolls in Apocalypse World are very decisive. So if you roll bad, something bad happens. If you roll good, something good happens. In this, it's less of a storytelling mechanic. The dice don't determine the story. The story's in the mind of the game master, but it establishes a back and forth that really helps the game master establish his story, right?
Yeah, there is still a bit of a narration, a story now feature to the game.
Yeah.
Because I only have down certain things of what will happen if the dogs
major role in
don't.
it is wrapping your story around what dice are being
I had no idea that was going to happen. In fact, there was a whole bunch of layers of sin under the whole Prudence thing.
Yeah.
And what's her name's sister, Jonah's sister. Mm-hmm. There was all sorts of stuff going on there. I guess since we're not going to visit it, I mean, Prudence had sex with Genji.
Oh,
right. So
that was kind of hilarious.
Yeah, that was when he first became a convert.
Right.
So he really didn't understand that she tricked him. He then said, "Oh, I'm never going to ever." Now, once he found it was a sin, he was like, "I'm never going to ever see you again, Prudence. Like Prudence, you're a liar and stuff." Right. So he became a complete opposite. But the demon's attack was Prudence gets pregnant from it. That was their attack. So the idea was if the dogs didn't intervene, Edmund, sorry, would have seen that it was a half child, a mixed child,
right,
and then would have killed Genji.
Right.
Knowing that he's
the
only,
newest,
and he's the only mountain folk convert in the town, so he wouldn't have killed him. The story with Jonah. Sorry, I don't mean to ruin it all, but I mean, we're not playing it. So the story with Jonah is Jonah seeing that what's her name was an unhappy relationship, and that he thought that his sister was also in a very unhappy relationship, and she was with a man that didn't really treat her very well, and see that Prudence was able to go out and have himself a man. He set up to have his sister go out with somebody, and thinks that the dogs, like the religion, is wrong. Because how can the religion be right when people are so unhappy? Right. So he was creating false doctrine. By saying to his sister and some other folks that he was able to convince that the religion ain't right if there's so much unhappy people. He was able to actually gather enough people for a cult for false worship, which would have came up later with guns.
Yeah. Of course.
So that was what his idea was. So Jonah was sort of like the leader of this group in creating false doctrine. Killed him. Yeah. I mean, right? But we never ever got to unravel why. Yeah. All this happened, right?
Yeah.
But that's a story.
Oh yeah.
That's all I do. Is just create that, and then what would have happened is Ethan would have became the mayor, and then the steward would have died. And anybody who believed in the God of life would have died. Like anybody who believed in the old ways. Right. And it would have been purged to the new God of life, like the corrupt worship. Right. It's what they would found out come out of them.
The unholy mass.
Oh, yeah. But this would have been like if the dogs weren't here, what would have happened?
Right. What we're here to sniff out and root out in terms of sin.
Now, I don't think you really helped your cause, because I'm pretty sure that the people now seeing the dogs just kill their leader of their false worship cult probably might have been a little bit more corrupted. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I don't know. They also saw a dog just kind of continue to try and talk it out to his death.
True. That's true enough, I guess.
Yeah, they definitely saw all different sides of dogs.
And
they also saw a different
and his sister
leader.
His sister was going to be traumatized, and so was Genji. Yeah, Genji basically was being shot at too.
Yeah, and he lost his best friend.
And then Adia, which you never got to meet, was his sister. You know. Yeah. Now she lost his brother. Her brother. So
God, yeah. So
this is what kind of game it would develop into. So let's say right now the dog said, "Oh, I'm gonna go fuck off somewhere," and when you come back to this town, you got to deal with all this.
Yeah, deal with how everything's developed over time.
So, yeah, I think it's a story creating engine.
It's a good story creating engine. Is like the. But I found just
the mechanics are not.
Yeah, it's more like a variable success story engine.
Yeah, it's very like a sandbox.
Yeah, but I mean, you basically determine what can happen in terms of sin, as opposed to Apocalypse World, where you don't even know that.
No. I get to make up that kind of stuff. Yeah, and basically how bad the sin is more demonic dice.
And then how
like Prudence only did a sin, right?
How much we succeed is what we can control, which
exactly.
you know. Yeah, it's not like Dungeons and Dragons where it's take all if you kill a monster. Right?
No, no, it's definitely not like that. But like Prudence was only committed a sin, right? She was in false worship or anything like that, so she only got 2d6 demonic influence. Right? But like the other guy who's basically was creating false cultship, that's what he got
4d10,
40
fucking 10.
Yeah, and if people are not involved in any sort of sin,
I won a conflict against him. Damn it.
Yes, you did.
I killed us both.
Yeah, you won the conflict. What about what do you think? You never played role playing games before?
Never.
How was this your? How was this for your first experience for a role-playing game?
It would be crazy. But
Did you feel like any sort of weird emotion when playing it?
it was funny a lot of times, I found. Like, not the game itself, but like the elements of how ridiculous the story gets really quick is really funny. Like, it goes from little tiny things to like
it becomes a runaway
within
train.
5 minutes later, it's like this outrageous thing.
Yeah.
There's guns are involved.
Yeah, the story elements have just went from like having tea to like guns shooting,
rafters falling
devil's
down.
cults coming up, and that's why. But we didn't know that at that point.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? Like,
And that's the interesting part of the game is that the conflict system is there, and it's all about how badly do you want to win, right?
Yeah.
You've got the ability to win. You won, for instance, your conflicts.
yeah, because if
I want it never escalating.
if you would have backed off in that instance, like the whole game would have changed completely.
Yeah.
Because it would have went on, and we would have made it to another town, and
Who knows what would happen?
who knows what would have happened, right?
Right? Like, yeah.
We might not have found out any of this stuff at all. We probably wouldn't have known anything about anything.
No, you probably would have uncovered other things, and other characters would have entered, right? Because I had 2 other people in the story that I
never even got a real
met.
story.
This
Yeah.
child yet to be born from Prudence.
Yeah.
so
Yeah, there was more of that to come,
Yeah.
and Genji, the other guy,
Yeah.
we never even got any story about him whatsoever.
You don't know anything of what's going on with him, right? No, you know his story now because I told you,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't know all that, right?
But your decision to follow through on whether or not you're going to be passive or if you want to really get to the root of things and stuff,
man, my
basically
character-
determines what's
A
going to
little too
happen.
passive, probably.
Pleasant could have really connected with Genji.
And that's what you were trying to do. Like, you were really pushing for it, and then you just wouldn't let him go, and now everybody's dead.
Not everybody, only he is dead.
You didn't
And
let
Jonah.
And Jonah, yeah.
And Jonah.
you didn't let the cult leader go, so that was
But he didn't know he was a cult leader.
No.
no. But once
All he thought it was a kid who had something bad happen to
I
him.
thought he was a kid whose
But
dad
that's
was
what I mean,
shot
like-
by a dog. Maybe
Exactly.
the dog was right. Maybe the dog was wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
He needs help.
I know, so that's all you knew about him. You didn't realize that he was actually a cult leader. The reason why you was following him around was to sort of...
pursuing to help the kid,
Yeah.
basically, pretty much got us all killed.
Yeah.
Got me killed in the kid.
Yeah, I mean, it was him. The reason why he hanged around with the big guy was because he was trying to figure out, like, what does the dog really do now? Like, what's the story?
Find out.
And now
he delivers mail all day.
he delivers mail, and he's an asshole, just like all the other dogs.
Yeah.
And that's what it
That
turned out.
changed everything too.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have been an asshole,
He might have had a different
he might have had a different.
or he might have approached you alone and had a different story. He might have been like, I've got some things I need to ask you. You seem like a nice person, but you're just a prick, so he doesn't have
Perhaps
anything.
I was going to join up in the cult.
Yeah, maybe. Oh God!
That would be some
setting-
poor conflict.
The setting is really well tuned to... The mechanics and setting have a really nice marriage there.
Yeah.
I would like to use the mechanics somewhere, but I'm not sure I could do that without... I'm not sure I could cannibalize them
No,
successfully.
they're. I think they're attuned to what they are, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically a homage to how horrible Mormonism is.
It's set up for disaster most.
Yeah, it
is.
is.
And
Even the faith is all set up, like the Book of Life, the way that there's roles upon each of the, because there's an entire list of roles of how each person in the family should act, and certain things that are sinful, and all of them are wants and lusts, right? They're all wants. They're maybe not all needs, but they're all wants, and how that plays into like the oppression of the religion. Though, there is sort of a fantasy element to it. We could have involved more magic if we wanted to, if it came up, right? But I mean, we made this
magical tea leaves.
Yeah, we totally made this as low fantasy as it can get without being over the edge, right?
Yeah.
The Book of Life thing, the holy singing, that was probably about the biggest of the...
Yeah.
he revived from the songs. Yeah, that's could be reality. I mean, it's one of those miracle things, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's a statistically likely miracle.
Right? So,
Somebody didn't die, just like every other day. I'm sorry.
yeah. Oh, it's cool, though. But, yeah. So,
Yeah, I really want to
dogs
find
in
some
Vineyard.
way to cannibalize the race and C system for social conflicts for other games.
I think there's other systems that do it better. I think this system does it really good for what it is.
Yeah.
I don't see any other games out there that have this system that I know of. You correct me if I'm wrong, people. Throw some systems out there that I don't know about.
We're not the be-all, end-all of RPGs.
I know, totally not.
I barely know RPGs.
Yeah.
I know a few RPGs really well because I played them for years on end.
Yeah, and with me, it's I slipstream through RPGs, so I know bits and pieces from other. And I've made mistakes on a lot of those, so.
You've all been there.
Yeah. But.
I don't know, what other system do you know that has such a really nice back and forth in conversation? I really enjoyed that with Pleasant. Every conflict with him, there was a back and forth the entire time. It wasn't just, I succeeded my diplomacy roll. You are convinced.
No.
Yeah, it was more than a 1-2 punch in terms of dialogue.
There's a back and forth. Okay, there's a back and forth system with the Marvel RPG, though that's a bad example.
Yeah.
There is a back and forth to it, though.
Talking specifically about conversation.
No, but something about there's nothing I know about. The only other system I know about is fucking Poisoned, but that's a 3 conflict system. It's like conversation, getting your gun out, and then killing. Right? That's the 3 things, and you basically go, do I want to escalate? And if you escalate, you're escalating to the next thing. You're escalating to the next thing. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like that. It's a little different than what we got going here, right?
Again, probably more geared for its theme.
Its theme, yeah.
Right.
I think it's perfectly geared towards its theme.
This game is perfectly in tune with its mechanics.
Yeah.
How you pick your stats in the beginning dictated a lot of what I had to do. Because I decided to be the big brute guy. Basically, if I wanted any chance of anything going anywhere, I had to go for violence all the time.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because that's what I
chose in the beginning.
Exactly. And that's sort of like your take on it, so like it's almost like what would you enjoy doing? Right? So then you put your 2 cents in on that sort of stuff. Then.
If I wanted to game the system, I'd actually probably take the build I've had, but I'd put more into gunfighting in my traits, and then I'd always start with conversation and escalate immediately.
Yeah. The other thing too is this game can be power game to shit. This is not a balanced game.
Yeah.
There are a lot of the things, especially when we get experience, you could just make like a big stat that seems overly useful for a lot of things, and just pump it up, keep getting 10s and whatever. It's not a balanced system. I will never say that.
No, it's definitely not.
Need to be.
But
it's a emotional system. It's in a system that gets people like, fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sad that Pleasant died. I'm sadder that Jonas died, and he was a fucking cult leader.
and he was an NPC. When you think about it.
Yeah.
Right?
NPC.
Yeah, a non-playable
I could have
character.
saved him. I could have let him run out, then I could have done something with Genji, and everything would have been hunky-dory.
You could have just gave up on the conflict. You just wanted to win.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is, though.
Wanted to push our opinion.
I made too many mistakes.
Yeah.
I felt like being very literal in my last words.
So, I wish you could play more RPGs with us at some point. You're pretty cool. Maybe one day in the future, maybe maybe not the next one coming up, but hey, maybe later on someday we can whip out another RPG in the weekend or something like that. And if you have nothing to do on a Friday or Saturday or whatever, well,
I'll try another one at some point. Sure.
Yeah, sure, cool, all right, awesome. Any final words?
I think Wait Still is a ridiculous name, and I'll stand by that forever.
Still.
Yeah, someone to suggest the names.
Oh man, the suggested names in this, like, there's a lot of funny elements to this, but that name, Wait Still.
Was Submit one, or was that one?
Submit was one of those.
My mother was named Submit.
What does that say? This game is hilarious.
What I'm gonna say,
That's my final note on this game.
Yeah,
It's got a lot of room for comedy.
Yeah.
I like everything I've seen of Vincent Baker so far, and I look forward to whatever the hell he puts out next, or whatever he's already put out that I don't know about.
We haven't played Poison yet.
Oh, that's also Vincent Baker.
Mm-hmm. I've got a lot of his games.
Right, cool, let's go start going through them.
Yeah, have a Vincent Baker marathon.
Yes, absolutely.
I love his games. They're all like that, but they're all fucking weird. Yeah. But yeah, your final words?
It was good. It was outrageous at times, and funny at times, and confusing at times.
Would it be something that you would play again in the future, or something that you'd probably be like, it was nice that I played it, let's move on to something else?
Yeah, I'd probably want to play a different game if I played again. I probably wouldn't want to play the same one again, but it didn't...
Didn't leave you with a bad taste.
It didn't leave me with a bad taste or anything.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, that's us. That's our opinions and review for the game. Check us out. We'll be on every week, apparently, if I can get enough content.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Good night.